there is trouble in paradise. And for all of the Coldplay fans out there, you're going to know what I'm talking about. Andy Byron, you naughty, naughty boy. I don't know why or how you thought that you were going to get away with that one, but you've had a mare, mate, so why not talk about it? Coldplay disaster. What are your thoughts on it straight off the bat? Just go in, because I'm so intrigued by this whole story. There's so many little nuances going on with what's actually happened with him, his position, what's happened since, but the Coldplay disaster that everybody's coining. What's your thoughts?
Every teardrop is a waterfall.
I love it.
No, it's just, you know what? You think in his head, you're like, he must have just been loving life, thinking, oh, this is a bit like, oh, shouldn't be doing this. And then next thing you know, they did, because obviously they didn't realise initially. It was kind of like the camera was on them, and it's like, oh, they're having an affair, or, you know, or he's like, they're really shy. And then all of a sudden, break, split, and it's going, oh my God, what's happened here? So I mean, he's kind of got what's coming to him for what happened, but yeah, it's not the way you'd want someone to be finding out on camera.
For any that don't know what we're talking about, all you have to do is go onto TikTok really quickly, search Coldplay and affair, and you'll see two people, middle-aged, so late 40s, blokes having a great time with his mistress, like all loved up with his arms in front
his
of her.
HR manager or something.
Pulling a Titanic at a Coldplay concert, and the camera has scanned over to them. And Chris Martin, after seeing that both of them have really quickly stopped getting so close, and the one's literally hidden away, has gone, oh, what's going on over there? Said they're either having an affair or they're incredibly shy, and it's come out. The internet has done their work. The internet has done a great job, as they always do. It just goes to show that no one is safe these days. If you think that you can't be tracked down, found, if you have an Instagram profile or a social media profile, you are getting caught.
You got a red mark on your back.
You'll get found. So very quickly, the internet's done its thing, found out that Andy Byron is married. I think the other lady is married as well. I don't know her name. So they're both married and they're both having an affair. So Chris Martin, well done. Your detective work was absolutely on point, mate. But
it's the fact is they worked for the same company, and like I said, I'm sure where I've read, she's like the HR manager of all jobs, so human resources. She's very resourceful with her humans by the looks of things.
Yeah, I can see why he's probably hired her, but that's where, as far as I am aware, that is where the majority of affairs are taking place in the workplace. And again, look, my opinions on it. So I want to relate this obviously to business, because Andy Byron, the CEO of Astronomer, has since handed in his resignation. It's going to have been a forced resignation, I think, both for his benefit, the company's benefit, and everybody's. I think, he's handed his resignation in, which you've got two sides of an argument there. It's one, good, great. That's the reality of what's happened. You know, that's the price he's got to pay because of his affair or this infidelity that he's having. And some would say that's a fair outcome.
Yeah.
Some would say that this guy has invested a huge, vast amount of time in his life to finding, I believe he's the starter of the company as well, and built it up to become CEO, built this huge, successful company, and it's cost his personal life, which is nothing to do with his business life, it's completely separate, has cost him his company. Now, he will have been paid out from that role. He wouldn't have just resigned and been left with nothing. So he'll either become a silent partner, he will have sold his shares, he will have had a handsome, if the company is a decent size, he'll have had a handsome payout for that.
It was $1 billion valuation, I think it was.
Right, okay, so
it's definitely not small.
It's no small, it's a decent sized company then. So he's going to be either he'll remain on the board as a silent shareholder in some capacity, or he will obviously have sold his shares. So he's not going to be coming out of it penniless. until his wife divorces him, which I would imagine is coming unless he took anything from that Coldplay concert and sings her a nice ballad or something. But even then, I don't think it's happening.
Yeah, he's definitely an army of one now, that's for sure.
God, you're hitting him today. That's good, that is. Well done, you. Yeah, I'm sure his wife's face was yellow when she saw the footage as well. We can tell we're fans. But look, my personal opinion, I think business and personal lives are separate until you either land yourself in a position of authority within a business or you are a direct impact, or your personal life directly impacts that business in a certain way. So in this circumstance, it has happened. And you look at Elon Musk when he was going crazy with the Donald Trump tweets, and he's gone crazy in many other tweets, and he's the owner, founder, CEO of these companies, some of them, not all of them. And his tweets are massively impacting the valuation for these businesses. Fortunately, he is the majority shareholder, and he is also part of the I don't give a fuck party. So he's very simply able to say, I do not care. This is my life. This is what I believe. If you don't like it, piss off. And he has fortunately got a lot of however many money. 100 billions he's got, has a lot of FU money. So it's a very interesting argument because it's nuanced on the one side where I do believe it's really unfair for him that his personal life, because who knows what's going on in his home. His wife might have cheated on him. They might be in an open marriage. They might have, I mean, it's probably not the case because of the result, but he might not be in love anymore. He might not be happy. He might not be this. And look, it's not nice, but it's not like cheating doesn't happen. He's not the first and only to have cheated, and he's certainly not going to be the last. So I hate this whole witch hunt that happens on social media when one person falls foul to doing something in a very open and evident way for everyone to see on social media. And then this vilification witch hunt happens where everybody starts throwing stones. And it's like, if you were in a glass house, you wouldn't throw it, because if I had a camera on your life and most of these people commenting, I reckon 80% of them have cheated probably themselves. And that's the reality. And yet they're there saying, what a scumbag. And I'm like, you've probably cheated on an ex multiple times in your own life, and yet you're all high and mighty and self-righteous that you're dropping comments on poor Andy Byron.
Yeah, well, again, the thing as well that people don't probably even realise is that company, I mean, I haven't checked, so I don't know how many staff work under that, building, but with him being the CEO, he's the leader of that business and being able to drive it to these heights. So now they've got to try and find a new CEO, and if they get the wrong one in, all these people could end up losing their job because the company could go bust.
It's a really good point.
So, they've all the community of the world's kind of going, oh, he's evil, da, da, da. But now that potentially could affect other people's lives because now he's lost his job as a CEO, which he obviously must be good at his job because he's got a company to £1 billion valuation. So, there's two sides to every coin, I suppose.
There is. On the other side of it, though, in the defence of him having to resign and being forced out, and
he was the HR manager.
I think there's a level of accountability that everybody should have and take on. Now, that, as I said earlier, that level of accountability is elevated when you find yourself in a position that holds itself to high account, i.e. you're the president of the United States, and look how good Donald is at holding himself to a high standard. That's a joke if anybody's not catching it.
How was it?
But when you are in that position, you should hold yourself to a higher standard. And that is just the reality of it. Us as business owners, we have to hold ourselves to a higher standard, because if we are seen to be caught slipping or caught lacking or caught at a Coldplay concert cheating on someone, then think about what all the staff, because it's been so public, if you've got a staff or a team of 20, 30, 50, 60, think of the disruption that that's going to create and cause, and think of the change in mindset and change of narrative and opinion that people that are working for you are going to have, because they're going to think to themselves, I've got a guy who I did perceive to be hardworking, honest, and caring, kind, looks after his team, does a good job, provides for his family, he's a family man. So all of a sudden, actually, behind closed doors, he's a bit
He's a rat.
he's a bit of a rat. Then it changes your opinion of him. And actually, he's no longer a family man. He's no longer kind and caring and compassionate and honest. Actually, he's a liar, a backstabber, a cheat, and all these different things. So
Not in paradise anymore, is he?
no, he's not. So the reality is it becomes a different paradigm shift. And so because he's in a position of authority, actually that authority has changed because of the perception of him as a leader. And these companies need to have strong leadership in place, because if you haven't got it, then companies are founded on values. And it's really important that businesses have a strong core values that are built within a business. Now, Elon Musk, and the difference between him is he's very vocal about his values. He's very vocal about what he stands up to believe and what he stands for: free speech and capitalism and meritocracy, all these things. And that's what he stands up and believes in. So when he puts a tweet out there saying what he believes and emphasizing it, he can tell people that work with him, you knew what you signed up for. You are aware of me, what I stand for, what I want, and who I am. If you don't like it, piss off, because this is what we're here for. Whereas you can't really find a company started on cheating, affairs, scandal, lies, and dishonesty. Apart from, actually, I say
It's
that.
a personal brand. What
brand. Is it AshleyMadison.com
oh, yeah,
or something?
Ashley Madison. Yeah, that was it.
No,
Yeah.
So unless you start in a literal infidelity affair website, then
and did all the usernames got leaked years ago?
Yeah,
do you remember that?
I do, yeah.
And
So unless you're starting that, your company's values are generally upheld on integrity, honesty, kindness, caring, all these fun adjectives that are thrown in that people buy into. Now it's changed him as a leader, so I can see why the decision had to be made.
Yeah, well, any of the employees that say have been cheated on in the past and had a really bad breakup, who might have loved him, like you say, are now looking at him thinking, you're a twat, I don't want to work for you anymore. So exactly, there's always two sides to every coin with all of it. And, you know, he's got to do what he's got to do. And he has, in my opinion, got to leave, especially because of the fact they work together. And it's like, you know, what are you doing?
It's a tough one, but as I said, that's where most of the affairs are happening. I'm sure there's a percentage nowadays where you'll see that's where most affairs occur. And again, now it's more common for marriage to end in divorce than it is to remain together. We're really fortunate our parents are still together. But the reality is cheating is rife nowadays. You only have to go on nights out in your local town, your local city, and you'd see it. It's absolutely disgusting, but it's the reality of the world we're living in nowadays, and I don't condone it. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm just saying it's become prevalent, which is a shame. But for him, it's a tough thing, and I'll go back to how this relates to business. Maintaining a personal life and maintaining relationships whilst running a business is so tough. And the way I always see this is, I think there are 3 pillars in pretty much everybody's life, which is yourself, your relationships, and your career. I think they're your 3 pillars that most people have. When I mean self, I mean focusing on things that you want to do, your activities. If you want to go to the gym, you want to play a sport, you want to go and
Coldplay concert.
Go to a Coldplay concert. Then there are your relationships. They're your friendships, your partnerships, your love interests, whatever that might be, and relationships with your kids, your family, your friends, whatever it is. You've got to obtain or maintain that. And then you've got your career as your 3rd pillar. Now, in my opinion and what I've experienced, you can never max out all 3 pillars. It's impossible. To max out the one, the others suffer. To balance 2, the other one needs to be, again, low. So there's this constant tipping scale of investing a lot of time into your career, which is what I've done for the past 12, 18 months. And I've been single and I've not had to worry about relationships. So for me, my past big 12, 18 months has been very much self and career. Now, in the last few weeks, I've been a bit burned out. So I've focused more on like relationships and self. and made sure that those have popped up. But that means that the career has suffered. So for him, with this guy, Andy Byron, who's a big CEO of a big business, he's probably spent a vast amount of his time focusing on his career, which has allowed his relationships to suffer. So he's probably miserable at home, miserable in his household, miserable with his wife. Otherwise, he wouldn't have cheated. And this is just one of the things that when you're a CEO or you're in a high position within a business, or you've got a high level of responsibility, those other pillars do start to suffer. So, I can empathize or sympathize with him in that way as well, because it is tough and it's easy again for people to shout and throw stones in glass houses. It just is easy. But the reality is the guy's probably worked his absolute nuts off for however many years to grow that business to what it is. And he's sacrificed, and that's what you have to do in life. You have to figure out where you want to prioritize your time, where you want to put your focus, and then where you're going to sacrifice. And he's chosen to sacrifice his relationships, certainly with his wife and family. So, condolences. Condolences to her.
I don't think they're going on I don't think he's dead yet. Although I don't know who she knows.
The relationship is dead.
Yeah, the relationship
sure it
is dead. I don't think there's any fix.
But again, I think the other one as well is that nobody talks about, I think she was married as well. And nobody talks about the husband. It's all the man that gets the gets the bad rep and the bad press, in this case anyway, so who knows. But I think that's it for the Coldplay disaster.
Yeah, the lights ain't guiding him home anymore.
It's tragic, but it's great. Cheating, it's not a good idea, anyone. Remember, don't throw stones if you're in glass houses, because all of you have committed treason and problems in your lives. And don't pretend to be so self-righteous and vilify someone. Look, he's made a mistake. We've all made mistakes in life. It's a hilarious video. Chris Martin absolutely nailed it on the head when he caught him cheating. So if you are going to cheat, don't go to a Coldplay concert. But better yet, just don't cheat. And we'll catch you in the next episode, where we'll be back to talking about business. But we just wanted to touch on this one because I thought it is quite entertaining. Thank you very much for watching. Remember, new videos every Monday. Remember, like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next